Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Now today we're just going to do a quick review on my last video I did on Ripple because it got like shed loads of views and people seem to have a lot to say about it, some good, some bad. And I just thought we'd review some of those comments because some of you guys put some really interesting comments in there which I really felt needed to be addressed and shared with everybody else. So let's dive in and take a look at what you had to say. Now this guy Derek Gillett, he made a really good point. He said that the 5 trillion a day wasn't particularly that important. I'd like it to happen, but realistically a transaction only takes 4 seconds. Those XRP can then be used again to transfer more money, so you don't actually need XRP to have a market cap of 5 trillion plus. You just need to have enough of a market cap to be able to transfer the biggest transfer that happens, then more to give some more liquidity, obviously. And that point was also made by Ryan Peters, who put some really great points and great comments on there. This is basically the same thing, which I have to say is a very good point. And if we come over to the XRP website, we can see exactly what they're talking about. You see here how fast is it? Payment settled in 4 seconds for XRP, whereas Ethereum takes about 2 minutes and Bitcoin 1 to 2 hours. And the traditional system, the SWIFT, which I mentioned in the last video, takes 3 to 5 days. Okay, 3 to 5 days, which is... So basically, what you can see from that is XRP is by far the fastest means for the banks to be bringing on board, and transactions per second is 1,500 transactions per second. Now, I'm not sure if that is what they've tested, i.e. like bench testing inside, or that's a real world scenario. I'm not sure. I mean, often you normally get like your internet speed, it will say you're getting 60 megabits speed, but then your actual speeds can be a lot slower, particularly during times of high volume. So although it says 1,500 transactions per second, I should imagine that real world use case it might be a bit lower, so don't expect that all the time. So talking about SWIFT, if we just head on over, we can see that SWIFT has been around for over 40 years. It was established in 1973 by 239 banks from 15 countries, all got together to solve this problem of sending currencies overseas to different countries with different currencies. Because obviously British pounds are no good in Australia or Uganda or anywhere else, you know, because you can't spend it. That's the problem with fiat currencies. The good thing with crypto is Bitcoin is worth 1 Bitcoin no matter where you are in the world, you know. So this was basically made 1973. I wasn't even born at the time when SWIFT came out. That is how old the technology is. It is absolutely ancient. Obviously it's been updated over the years, but compared to the likes of what Ripple have to offer, where they're doing 1,500 transactions per second, and it only takes 4 seconds for a transaction to go through rather than 3 to 5 business days, and the transaction cost is so low, it's really a no-brainer for the banks and other financial institutions. I think it's definitely a winner. They got a very strong use case, and I'm still very bullish on XRP right now. If we have a look at another comment, this is from Shiraz Khan. He says, I think your analysis is misleading and fails to mention that each transaction burns a Ripple coin. If a single coin is valued at $129, as you claim, that would make Ripple a very expensive payment system. Therefore, your prediction is unrealistic. For XRP to provide value, it would need to keep its cost effectiveness, and therefore each Ripple coin should not be worth more than $25, which is the current going rate for international money transfers. Now that all sounds like he's done a lot of research and wrote that very, very well. So I've got to say, Shiraz, thanks very much. That is a great point, and it did make me have a look. I had I already knew about this, but I didn't think it was as much as one whole token. So I had another little look around the website and found here we've got Ripple, the transaction cost. So to protect the XRP ledger from being disrupted by spam and denial of service attacks, each transaction must destroy a small amount of XRP. This transaction is designed to increase along with the load on the network, making it very expensive to deliberately or inadvertently overload the network. So every transaction must specify how much XRP to destroy to pay the transaction cost. The current minimum transaction cost required by the network for a single standard transaction is not 1 XRP. It is actually 0.00001 XRP. Okay, so it's a very, 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 very tiny amount of XRP. It really is nothing to worry about. I mean, if they were transferring $5 trillion worth a day and you were burning 1 XRP a day, you wouldn't be in business 6 months later. They'd probably be out of XRP by that point if it was 1 a day. And it says here, beneficiaries of the transaction cost. The transaction is not paid to any third party. The XRP is irrevocably destroyed since no new, and this is very important, since no new XRP can ever be created, i.e. this is like Bitcoin, it's a finite resource. This makes XRP more scarce and benefits all holders of XRP by making XRP more valuable. And this, guys, is why it's very important to actually do your own research. Don't listen to me, okay? I'm not a financial advisor. Just do your own research and find out the actual facts, because there is so much, I don't know if you call it fake news, right? But there's so much rumours and complete nonsense out there right now. So, talking about that, you might have noticed, if you are holding some Ripple, that the price went down an awful lot yesterday. In fact, if you have a look on the chart, you can see an absolutely massive drop all the way down to, like, what is that, about 162? Now, is this worrying at all? Now, if you have a look at the chart, you can see down here on the Scotch chart, this is the overbought area. So we were very much overbought here, and it went down. And right now, even that time when it went down all the way, it didn't actually go into the undersold. It just met up with the same low point there. So it probably really hit a buy wall. That would have been a great place to buy. There's no doubt about that. It's still coming down now. The real question is, why did it go down? You know, why did it go down so far? I've got to say, it's a bit of a price correction, a very severe price correction. Cryptos are volatile, you know, but there is a reason for it. So if you head over to the Twitter, you can see David Schwartz. This is one of the guys here at Ripple, and he goes on to say that CoinMarketCap's decision to exclude Korean prices from the displayed XRP price made the price appear to drop, likely triggering some panic selling. Look closely at the data and don't be misled. What they're saying is basically in Korea they have a shortage of cryptocurrencies, so there was a lot of buying activity going on in Korea, and when they took that buying activity away, CoinMarketCap, I think they've been thinking about this for a while, to exclude the Korean market data, not just from XRP but from all cryptocurrencies. And now that that's been pulled away, it appeared as though the price went down, which meant a massive sell-off, you know, as people were panic selling, which did make the price fall. But there's nothing really fundamental. There's no fundamental reasons. It's not like Ripple is going out of business tomorrow so the price is dropping, you know, nothing of the sort. So, you know, you can just hodl your way through this, no problem at all. And, you know, looking back on that chart, you know, we're not in an oversold place right now. So if it's up here, you might be thinking of selling like it was there. But when it comes down here, this is really where you're going to want to sell, buy, not sell, buy down there. So yeah, if it does pull it all the way down here again, definitely buy. I myself, the reason why I'm not personally selling right now is because every time you buy and sell, there's transaction fees, and you have to be sure that it's going to go down far enough for you to buy back your position, cover all the transaction fees, and also make some profit at the same time. Now, where it's going to go down to right now, I'm really not sure. This level around here, around the sort of $2 mark, might end up as a floor. So it may not actually break the $2 again. If that should happen, you know, you haven't got a lot in there right now, depending on how much XRP you've got. I don't know if you'd make any money selling and then trying to buy back. It might drop all the way down here, I don't know. I actually sold some XRP just under $2. It was around there, about 193, and I put on Twitter, this is my post on Twitter from my eToro account, that I'd put on an order to buy back at 142, but I actually took that order off because I just don't believe it's going to go back down to 142, in my opinion. It's gone all the way down here to 160, my order at 142. I was hoping this level here would act as a floor, and when it went up, it would come back down and hit around here, around the sort of 142 mark, and pick my order back up. But it just doesn't seem, I don't know if it's going to, it might do. Who knows, it might do, but I'm not sure. So, let's have a look. So, what have we gone through? We've gone through that there, which is the CoinMarketCap decision. Obviously, there's nothing to do with Ripple. This is all CoinMarketCap, which caused that selling off. Ah, yes, this is it. So, Ripple. Now, as I was saying about $1 trillion cost, obviously, as more and more banks come on, all we saw is a couple of banks in South Korea and Japan come on board, and the price went from about 22 cents up to $3. So it's kind of obvious every single time that more banks, more financial institutions come on, you're going to see that price jump up again and up and up every single time you get more financial institutions coming on. Now, we already know that Ripple said that there was maybe 3 out of 5 household names, these financial money exchanges, whatever it is, I can't remember the terminology right now, but that they'd be coming on board over the next few months, sometime this year. Check out this. This is the Ripple Insights, Ripple Looking Ahead 2018 predictions, and basically this is about everything in general. This is quite interesting. It says that we also expect this period of uproar to shine a spotlight on the best digital assets tokens, with the strongest use case, backed by real legitimate businesses. Digital assets that solve real problems will emerge as winners, period. So, you know, like I said in the last video, there's a lot of coins out there which don't really have much purpose, and I think as soon as regulation comes down and sort of smacks down hard on them, they're just going to fold. I'm not saying that all of them are. I think there's some really great companies out there and some really good coins to buy on CoinMarketCap, but there's also an awful lot of ones which, let's face it, there's what, 1,800 coins on CoinMarketCap? I mean, they're not all winners, okay? So I think a lot of those will go, and that's the same opinion here with these guys. But this one here is the absolute awesome point you have to take from this. It says, which brings us to my next major prediction for 2018. We expect the digital asset market to surpass the 1 trillion mark before year end. And you know what that means. So, do you see? From my last video, I was talking about, you can see what this means, right? Clearly, they're expecting a lot of upward momentum in the XRP price this year, and I am too. I know, I'll be honest, I think as more come on board, you will see the price rise up. And here is another prime example of something which is causing a lot of confusion out there in the market, which is when these banks and that do come on board, where are they going to get the Ripple from? Does Ripple have its own sort of private stock held just for the banks, or do the banks have to buy on the open market with the rest of us? And this is what this guy here, called David, he said, not called David, sorry, But he says, "Hi David, in the interest of Ripple holders, how does the bank use XRP tokens? Are they going to have their own XRP bought from the market? What has been, which has been bought by the market, what has been circulated, or do they get from the escrow? How is this really going to work? Can you shed some light?" And this seems to be causing a lot of problem. A lot of people believing that the banks have their own sort of private channels to use the XRapid system with XRP. And this is what David Schwartz from Ripple actually said. He says most likely they will buy on the open market. Ripple's direct sales have been more for investors or to incentivize partners, not for transactions. So you see, when these banks do come on board and they need to start transacting billions of dollars worth of XRP, they have to buy that XRP from the market, which if you're an investor in Ripple, they've got to buy it from you at a much higher price, hopefully. I don't see the price tanking, as what some people suggest. I think it's going to go up. And I think the general market sentiment for Ripple is positive. And let's have a look at just this one last little video from Bloomberg, where I think it was the little... Anyway, you shall see. Watch this.
Interested in Ripple. We should say that Seagate hasn't responded to requests for comment. So this is a report and perhaps some rumors, but nonetheless, like you said, markets are moving on it. In particular, Ripple market is moving. What was really interesting is I think we have an intraday chart that shows the percent change as of Friday. We're ignoring the Saturday and Sunday trading volume. You see a little bit of a decline in the currency, and then they've recovered a little bit of their losses. Look at their on reports of this. So Ripple has been very volatile. What's interesting here, though, is analysts over at Susquehanna were saying that this stake at Ripple, at least for Seagate, will not materially affect their upside and that you could sell on any of this strength. So that was interesting to know. Another thing that you mentioned was that it's the third biggest cryptocurrency right now. Ripple and Ethereum have been going back and forth between number 2 and number 3. You have Bitcoin, of course, number 1, about $246 billion in market cap, and then Ethereum, and then Ripple. It'd be interesting to see how today's news sort of plays into Ripple, maybe goes up back up on the food chain as they do the horse race for 2 and 3.
Interesting to watch what Seagate Technologies is doing, because this isn't the first maybe unusual investment it's made.
Mm-hmm. They've traditionally been in the hard drive, which is more of a slower growth area, and
So there you go, guys. Seagate has invested into Ripple and its price has gone up. So the general market sentiment with the big Wall Street traders and whatnot investing in Seagate is because, you know, they've invested in Ripple. Ripple's a plus. Definitely worth investing in. That is my opinion. That is not financial advice. Right, I shall see you again tomorrow.